what's the end game for global warming? Are we all just going to drown? Because it gets hotter by the year.
If you get a cup of ice, you have ice in it already, and you fill it with water, the ice can melt. The water will not overflow out because the volume is already accounted for once the water is filled.
But that's just with ice. We have land here.
Hello. Welcome back.
Sometimes crypto.
The unscripted
Crypto podcast.
Ayo.
Unscripted. Oh, yeah.
Except for the beginning. We always say that. The beginning.
The beginning is pretty
scripted. It's our little slogan.
It's okay to be a little bit scripted,
You know?
in the beginning, right? People got to know who you are.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So
Right.
speaking about people knowing who we are, we got our good friend that we met a year ago.
Has it been a year?
It's been about a year.
Damn, that flew by.
Yeah. Right?
It's crazy.
It's almost a year at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last time I saw you guys, you were talking about implementing like the cameras and stuff, and I think it's definitely a great big old upgrade.
So your name? You go by?
I'm just Andrew. I don't have any kind of socials or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm a crypto enthusiast, moving more towards being a Bitcoin enthusiast.
Yeah.
Just because of, I don't know, I feel like I've realized a lot of things, and yeah, that's me, man. I'm just here to talk and
Stimulate some conversation.
some
No,
conversation.
we're here to
man.
shoot the shit, guys. Keep it simple.
Yeah, yeah,
Broke my own rule of cursing.
We already.
Bleep that somewhere.
yeah.
Bleep the bad
Bleep
word,
it out.
guys.
Leave it out. But
Jesus.
yeah, I mean, I used to be pretty hardcore into most cryptos, and then the generic. I read the Bitcoin Standard, and
the book.
Yeah,
What? There's a book?
yeah. Well, I didn't read it. I fucking listened. Oh
Audio.
shit. Oh crap.
You already did it. Yeah, it's fine. We're not monetized, so it's not.
We're
We're
not
not the
monetized.
end of the world. Wait a minute, there's a book for real? Like I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Bitcoin Standard.
Someone explain.
I mean, it explains a lot about Bitcoin and why it's the perfect money. In a way, it talks about, hard money and easy money, and basically how our government and our Federal Reserve uses easy money to devalue its citizens' savings and whatnot. And Bitcoin, there's only 21 million of them.
Fixed amount.
Fixed amount, right? It's incorruptible code, right? And because of that, it can't be diluted like USD or many other cryptocurrencies, which I think is
And fiat currencies in
fiat
general.
currencies. Yeah. I mean, it talks about basically how all fiat currencies eventually die, right? Because of the hand of like a central bank or a corrupt government.
Or both.
Or both. Yeah, mostly both at the same time. I don't know if you guys heard, but like the U.S.'s credit rating got downgraded.
I did hear that.
AAA to a AA plus. Not only because of the insane printing that we have, but because they think that the last 20 years the government has been run poorly.
Yeah. Bad economic policies.
Terrible economic policies.
Overspending, overprinting.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
This guy.
Yo, are you serious? We've been overspending,
Yeah,
overprinting?
we're just keeping him in the loop. He's
No way, guys. For real? Facts,
asleep.
honestly?
Facts speaks facts.
Yeah, and apparently there's a couple states that have a higher credit rating than the United States as a
You
whole.
know a state? Give me a name.
Florida's one of them. Texas is another one of them. There's one in the northwest.
So it's all like red states?
I don't know. Well, Florida's
I'm just making a joke.
what's it called? Yeah. But yeah, there's a handful of other states. I don't know all of them because
Is California one of them?
no.
Definitely not.
No, it's
California, probably not New York.
I saw the list. I don't know. I'll try to look for it again.
I'm just shooting shots at
And
other
post it.
states.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so basically what this means is outside investors are losing faith in the U.S. dollar, right, which is going to contribute to the inflation here because basically we have a lot of U.S. dollars circulating in the U.S., and the goal is to export that, right? And the U.S., of course, I don't know if you guys know, is a proof of war consensus, right?
Essentially.
We
Fair enough. I'll give you that one.
You know, use our dollar, or we're gonna give
Use our
you
guns.
some freedom.
We'll free you even if you don't want to be free.
Yeah, exactly.
Rough.
The U.S. dollar is not backed by gold anymore, as of the 70s.
71.
71.
Yeah.
There you go. So that's basically the road we're heading to, and that's why I'm pro Bitcoin. And you know, the book also talks about it contests gold and silver and other monies that have been used in the past, right? So basically, before the perfect store of wealth was gold, right? But when you get more demand for gold, companies start mining more supply, bringing it into circulation, which devalues it. With Bitcoin, you can get more demand, but it's still the same amount being mined. The only way to meet that is with price valuation, appreciation.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I mean, to add to the gold thing, yeah, people start mining more, but at least there is a fixed amount on this planet. There's no more. There's not going to be like the Earth won't just make more gold. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know how much gold there actually is, though.
That's true. Yeah, you don't know how much there is, so you don't know like its true value because it's like unexpected.
Also, just to get it is disastrous.
Oh,
yeah,
it's
terrible for the environment. I mean, Bitcoin. People rag on Bitcoin for
also,
power usage, but
a lot of lives are lost just mining gold.
Yeah,
that's a whole different.
Yeah,
and you know, gold is scarce, but Bitcoin is finite.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's the big difference there.
Yeah,
you know, it's codified. It's perfect money, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man. I mean, that's basically
the road you're down.
The road I've been down, man. Because I read the book, man. It opened my eyes. I mean,
you gotta tell your job to pay you in Bitcoin.
Actually, I've been doing that every time I apply for new jobs or talking to my own boss. I'd be like, I want Bitcoin. They're like, we're working on it.
We're working on it.
We're working on it.
I was like, I'll help you make it happen.
Hey, could you imagine that? I mean, getting paid in it'd be kind of hard to, use it, getting paid in it, but I think getting paid 5-10% for now in Bitcoin would be a good deal as like a savings.
You can do that with if I think Coinbase still has it, their deposit thing.
Direct deposit?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They convert it for you.
I don't know if they do it. I've been looking for a company that does that.
Cash App also does it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust Cash App.
No.
Oh. If you ask me why, I have no idea. I just don't.
You got something wrong with
something.
He has something wrong
Jack
with big centralized entities.
Jack Dorsey?
If I did, I wouldn't like the government.
You don't
I do sometimes, depending on the day of the week.
You don't like Block Inc?
Who?
Block Incorporated.
What's that?
The owner
They
of
used to be
Cash App.
Square, but now they're Block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Square. Okay, so
they changed their name to Block in 2021.
2021.
The bull run, of course.
Why change their name? Oh, because they went to...
So the owner of it, one of the co-founders is Jack Dorsey,
Mm-hmm.
previous CEO of Twitter. And he's a very big crypto advocate. And
Did you say former CEO?
former CEO.
Okay.
He's big on Bitcoin.
And owner.
But
yeah, he's really big on Bitcoin.
He's huge on Bitcoin.
So they had Square Inc., which is like a digital bank.
I know what it is.
A payment processor. And then, what was it, 2021?
2021, yeah.
During
So
the
like
market?
during the bull market, during the bull run, everybody started changing their names. Like Facebook turned into Meta because of the metaverse.
Mm-hmm.
You had Square that turned into Block.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted, I guess, people to associate their companies with, the hype of the bull run and all these companies. But yeah, Jack Dorsey is pretty big on like Bitcoin. I don't think they sell like Ether or anything on Cash App, if I'm not mistaken. But
so they do Bitcoin transactions on Cash App.
Yeah.
But yeah, it actually Block has reported that they've increased their revenue in terms of Bitcoin transactions by 34% year over year.
Wow.
They had $2.4 billion come in from sales of Bitcoin.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's their fee.
Yeah, the fees, transaction fees. Block Inc. had about $55 billion in the second quarter revenue. $55 billion in one quarter.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
Talk to Apple.
Talk to Apple.
Talk to Apple.
Apple makes more.
Apple did 80.
80 billion?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Shoot.
He's like, I was on the call.
It came out. No, I wasn't on the call. It came out yesterday, on their whatchamacallit? On their call. It was posted, I think, by Yahoo Finance.
Yahoo Finance, yeah. Yahoo Finance
Or
posts stuff
Bloomberg.
like that.
Yeah, Apple did 81.8 in quarter 3.
That's wild.
That's a lot.
That's wild.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's the total revenue.
Did they do pre-sales of that Vision, Apple Vision Pro?
Probably not. No.
No.
Pre-sales won't open up until later because there's no apps for it. It'll probably be after
What do you
next.
What do you guys think about Apple Vision? Like,
They're doing an Apple.
I mean, you're talking about the VR, right?
The VR, yeah.
Yeah, they're doing VR the way Apple does. The way Apple does things.
But like, what do you think? Would you buy it?
Not the first one.
Yeah,
Definitely not the first one.
not the first one.
Well-
I'll be throwing away money at that point.
Actually, I think I did mention this on one of the episodes where I would buy one.
To store it. You said
Yeah,
you'll buy 2.
I buy
store.
2.
Yeah.
Store one, sell the other one like immediately or
Yeah.
for like markup or whatever. Get some. Store the other one. Hold it for 15 years in its original box, closed. Sell it off to like a museum or something in the future.
Museums don't buy things.
Donate it.
No.
Get a
We're
big
selling
tax,
on eBay.
Sell it on eBay.
big tax write-off.
Exactly.
I don't know if that's how that works.
It's something like that.
Not tax advice. I don't know.
Yeah, let's specify. Not tax advice.
Not
Yeah,
tax
good.
advice.
The museum one's tricky, but yeah, they don't buy. Museums don't buy things.
Some museums do.
No.
Damn, I didn't know
Sure.
that.
Any public national like
Mm-hmm.
Smithsonian stuff, none of them buy anything. It's all donations.
It's all donations.
Damn, really?
Non-profits. I don't know. I feel like they probably do some.
They do
They
not buy.
they operate at. They generate revenue. They need to spend that money.
They don't generate revenue. You
Of
go in
cour-
for them for free.
Museums?
Some museums you pay for.
Yeah.
Too.
Those are private.
No, they're non-profits. Museums are typically not all of them, because there are museums that.
What museum did you go to in Washington that you paid for?
Oh no, Washington D.C. Washington D.C. is different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Washington,
Did you
DC?
pay for
Yeah.
a Smithsonian
In New York?
in New York?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I didn't go to that one.
I didn't go to that
I
one.
don't know.
But I know for them, I do know the museums don't buy things.
hmm
It's all donations.
Yeah. You're not wrong. There are a lot of donations, but if they buy anything, I feel like it'll probably be more so like deals with other museums, because I know that sometimes they'd be like, oh, I want to have a Dali exhibit here. Let me pay you for the transport of some of your Dali pieces so I could have it here and try to bring in some more people.
Mm.
So museums do share like works, like in terms of art. They do share stuff like that. But like buying, yeah, they don't do a whole lot of purchases because that tends to be risky. And they do operate at a different like organization structure.
Mm. Interesting. You know, I remember I went to the Smithsonian in DC, and I don't know if you saw like the little section where they talk about like money and how it's like progressed through time.
Oh, is that the one of natural history?
I think so.
Or yeah, I don't remember seeing that, but I do remember. I did go to that one because they have so many museums.
Yeah. But I remember like they have like displays of like different kinds of like monies that have been used throughout history, from like stones to beads.
Yeah, to
And then,
shells. I think.
yeah.
I don't know if they had it there, but I know.
Yeah,
shells
they
were
had the
used.
shells. I remember that.
Donation first
Donations first.
Donations first.
before acquisition.
Yeah, of course. It's just beneficial for them because they don't have to spend money, and then it's beneficial for the donator because they also get a tax write-off.
Mm. Interesting.
That's a good flavor.
The orange?
Yeah,
Orange mango?
It's mango. I thought it was gonna be orange. I didn't know I thought it was gonna be orange like the other one.
I'm
I'm sorry, I threw off the convo.
Like Celsius?
No, like the regular prime.
Oh, like the, okay.
My bad for throwing off the convo, guys. I just was talking out loud. My fault.
No worries, man. No worries. So
What happened with the beads?
Yes, the beads.
Don't look at me like that.
Right? Who?
You looked at me with a weird face when he said beads.
I said beads. Money that people have.
Oh, well, that's right. Beads were money at one
People
point.
used to use beads for money. Yeah.
Right.
And then they would use like shells.
What type of beads we talking about? Like man-made beads?
Man-made beads. Yeah.
Okay.
And then of course, someone would come along and make more beads, and the beads would become worthless.
Mm-hmm.
Same
Not
concept.
falsification at that point.
Yeah, falsification.
Yeah. Same thing as what's going on now, right? You
You
print.
you can't make money though.
You can.
Yeah, you can. The Federal Reserve does it all the time.
No,
It means counterfeit money.
I meant counterfeit.
You could literally buy it on the black market for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, but that's a traceable bill.
No, counterfeit bills.
Oh yeah, but they're not good. Some of them are.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
That's literally a business model. Make the best counterfeit. It's the whole thing.
That's crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
They're that good? Why are we using more counterfeits then?
People
This is illegal. This is a hypothetical conversation.
people
Do not use counterfeits.
Do not use counterfeits. Use your money.
We do
people.
not endorse illegal activity.
We're just talking about illegal activity.
Yeah,
Which we're allowed to do.
We
Thank you. Making that clear.
yeah, you could go on the black market, buy like say $100 for $80. Granted, you get $20 for free. Technically, it's like I say free because you spend 80 and you get 100 counterfeit bills. So then there's a market there. There's going to be people who are like, oh, I'll give you 100 for $60. That's a better deal. But like, what's the quality of the dollar?
Yeah, you want the best counterfeit.
Depends.
Unless you make it a little ugly and you would like to.
Yeah, because
You know what
like
I'm
it depends.
Place some bets.
It's like I'm telling you, it's a business model. It's not legitimate. It's not legal, but people do it.
It's a
You get
business
counterfeits, but you only get like dollar bills. You
Yeah.
can use them at like the Dollar Tree.
Yeah,
So it's like it's not a heat up.
and then be like,
I didn't even. I was thinking more so. You get counterfeit, and you exchange the counterfeit for real dollars. You make a thing there.
yeah, that's also people do that too. I mean, you either exchange it for goods or exchange it for another currency. That's legitimate. But that falsification of currencies has always existed.
There's also illegal, guys.
In terms of the beads, I think it was like an African country that was doing that.
Yeah, it was an African country, and then a bunch of Europeans came over and made.
Fucking.
Yeah, they actually saw what they're doing. And they're like, oh, we could do this, and we could do this for
Colonizers.
much cheaper than what they're doing it.
Yeah.
So then they made those beads and
So-
would go over there and buy stuff for hella cheap, causing inflation in that country because they're like, oh, where the heck did all these beads come from? So everything got super expensive,
Yeah.
and all their material got essentially stolen.
Yeah. And then there was this other country where it's kind of similar to like I guess the blockchain Bitcoin network, where I guess people would gather around like these giant stones in the middle of the town and like announce in front of everybody like, oh, this person now owns this stone, right? And like yeah, it's a real thing, man.
Things so wild.
Yeah, these were crazy back in the day. Like
Like they would actually like inscribe like a transaction, be like, oh,
Yeah,
they own this house, and then
I mean,
Yeah.
the Egyptians would have maybe not the Egyptians, but the Egyptians would have had some method like that. It's all stone.
it seems like they would. I don't know. But do you know what civilization did that?
I don't, man. I
A few.
a few probably,
More than-
but
More than one.
More than one.
I mean, it was one specific one that like the book talked about, but I thought it was an interesting concept because I mean, the blockchain is the same way, right? Like
Essentially, yeah.
like
It's a
if
public
one person
ledger.
says like, oh no, actually he owns it. The rest of the validators are gonna be like, no, that's not true.
Be like, no, that it doesn't say on this block.
Yeah, that's not what it says on this block.
Kind of like how everything is now is just a third party entity verifying it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only problem is
Like one's a centralized third party and the one's a decentralized third party. It's still a third party.
Yeah, it's a trustless third party, because everything is just there, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting how like that concept of like transparency evolved to big old BTC.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's only like 10 years in.
Yeah.
Not even.
11 years in.
Yeah.
11 years in, and it's only had like 2 issues in all of its history. There was one time where it had a bug, and
I didn't know about this.
Minted 84 billion bitcoins, and they had to make a hard fork. Do you guys know about this? Yeah. I don't know if it was 84 or 81 billion. No, that's not in the book. That's a separate thing.
Okay, gotcha.
It's just separate research. But
14 years. My math.
I think it was.
I just said yes to you.
Yeah, no.
Has it been 14 years?
14 years. Yeah, it came out in 2009. 2023. 14
I don't
years.
fact check Alex very often.
So, but I think that bug was.
You did earlier in this episode.
Oh, you fact checked something.
Yeah.
The museum.
The museum.
Well, I didn't fact check you. I fact checked myself. But I said something. I said a claim that was, and then I'm like, wait, man, I'm not wrong, but I'm not right.
Okay. Double check this.
So
yeah,
what's the fork now that stayed? Or
I don't know what it's called. It was still when like Satoshi was working on it, but
gotcha.
He basically had like all the miners switch to this Bitcoin code because that one bug minted billions of coins.
84 millions or billions?
I believe it's billion.
Jesus.
If you want to,
yeah, I'm gonna search it up.
Double check that.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah,
but that was like early.
That's early.
Yeah, that was early Bitcoin. Other than that, there's a website, and I wish I could remember these specific sources. There's a website that tells you like the uptime that Bitcoin has had. It's like 99.99%.
What do you mean uptime?
Like aside from that like bug.
Got you. How has it performed?
Yeah.
Got you. Yeah.
So, and I mean, imagine like back then, like Bitcoin security was like nothing compared to now. It's like a monster. It's super hard to change or hack.
There's a lot of computers working on it.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Going back to like the counterfeiting thing of beads and money, in terms of like gold. We were talking about gold earlier. That gold comes from the earth. It's pretty much verifiable and scarce, but people still counterfeit gold also.
That's an easy catch.
Yeah.
That's an easy catch.
Oh, it's an easy catch.
Yeah.
Like it's easy to tell.
Gold's dense.
Gold is dense, so it's like heavier.
Yeah.
You just weigh it and then see.
You just weigh and you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it is easier to verify on the blockchain.
Man, I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying I'm just saying you can verify it. I wasn't arguing. Come on, man.
I'm just saying it is really.
Yeah, it looked like 184 billion Bitcoin.
Oh, there you go. 184 billion, not 84 billion.
So
80. Way more.
You said 80 billion. I was like, that's a stupid amount.
Yeah.
It's still a stupid number.
It's a ridiculous amount. Yeah. So like imagine like it's something like that. You have to create a hard fork, right? And like, what do you guys think right now would cause Bitcoin to create a hard fork again?
Another hard fork?
Yeah. What do you think? Like, what kind of event?
I don't know. Quantum computers come out.
Quantum attack. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think like, you know,
which they're like rolling them out apparently.
No.
I heard that
they're working on different models.
Different models.
Like different countries all have like a different model of quantum computing.
And some companies.
And
like
companies.
Google has one.
Yeah.
I think.
I heard Google was working on one.
Yeah, every tech giant is probably working on one.
Did you guys see? Did you guys watch Black Mirror?
Yes, I know the episode.
Did you see that episode?
Yeah, I did.
The quantum
computer.
computer.
It was really good.
Have you seen it?
I don't watch Black Mirror.
Insane, man.
It was a mind bender.
It was.
I was like, okay. I was like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, you said what now?
Yeah. Well, basically.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Why is it a new season?
It's a new season.
It's a new season.
How long has it been out?
It's been out like a month and a half.
You should have watched it. It's on Netflix.
You should have watched it, man.
It's binge-worthy.
I see Oppenheimer scenes on like Instagram, so
Haven't watched that movie yet.
Haven't seen it either.
I haven't seen it either.
Okay,
but it's on like reels and stuff. So
yeah.
This shouldn't be too bad of a spoiler.
So
right?
let's go for it. No, we don't. We already gave the alert.
You see spoiler alert. You either tune in, tune out. We don't care about spoilers here.
Okay, so
basically, it's Netflix created an episode in Black Mirror where within the episode there's a company like Netflix that has a quantum computer, right? And everybody that has the Netflix app on their phone, it's called Streamberry. That's what they called it in the show.
Okay.
Netflix. The app updates its terms and rights policies to listen to everything you're saying and sell that to Netflix to create a story about you, right? And then it uses like quantum computing to generate like faces of actors, but for the likeness of actors. Like it had Salma Hayek
and the actress from Schitt's Creek. I don't know her name.
I don't know her name either, but pretty terrifying.
So what you mean is what they're currently doing, most likely?
Yeah, what...
I'm not saying they are because I didn't read the terms and conditions. I'm just saying...
I mean, I just want to say after that, I deleted Netflix off of my phone.
Did you?
Yeah.
Actually?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. But you kept it on your computer.
No, I mean, I go to the web browser.
Yeah.
But I mean...
Listen.
Keep my computer at home.
Yeah, but like it's... I saw this reel on Instagram that they talked about... They asked AI to create a way on how it would get rid of humans, and but it said it had to be enclosed, like it's in its own mind, like it's no access to the internet right away. So essentially, what it did was from its own box, it wrote enough code to then jump from where it's enclosed, its server that was private to it. Hacked its way into a public server, which hacked its way into a Roomba. Then the Roomba hacked into the Wi-Fi. Then at that point, it was just like, bang, bang.
Yeah.
And then from the Roomba, it just continued just hopping from one stage to the next until it went, oh, humans aren't necessary. Then with that, it hacked into 3D printers to create 3D printed way of it being a thing,
like Ultron.
Yes,
Ultron.
like exactly.
That's
and then
crazy.
they go, and then it what it was someone gave Chat GPT or one of these AIs told it right away a story on how AI would end all humans.
It was written by
AI.
by ChatGPT. Yeah.
That's wild. Have you guys seen that video where it's like now people can see like body movement through like Wi-Fi radio waves?
I did see that.
That's insane.
It's military, what's it called, equipment.
That's insane. That's like some terrifying shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So essentially, like there's Wi-Fi being emitted by different devices.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi signals being emitted, and there's just a device on the other side that would pick it up, and any interference would pretty much just display it. Kind of like was this game called Black Ops 2?
Yeah.
The scanner.
The scanner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one got hot, by the way.
Okay. But I think that Wi-Fi thing was not so much AI stuff.
No, but I think they were talking about how like AI is going to integrate into that for like, I guess government. Is it called supervision? No, it's called. What? Damn, I'm having a brain fart.
Surveillance.
Surveillance. How did I forget that word?
Supervision.
Yeah, brain fart.
It.
Yeah, for government like surveillance and stuff.
So they can find out whose cocaine it was.
Security state is gonna get.
Yeah, so like even like when you're in your house, they're gonna see like what you're.
Well, I meant this. So the White House can find out who the cocaine belonged to that they found.
Absolutely.
Who do you guys think it was?
So it's someone who was in the White House for sure.
Someone who's in the White House.
Someone in the White
And
House.
someone who is probably known for having a cocaine
A little
issue.
bit of a drug problem.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, I feel like there's some
I
security.
can assure you it wasn't Biden's. I can
No.
assure you that much. It wasn't the president's.
Yeah.
No,
He's not awake.
He'd
like
be
that.
talking better if it was his.
He'd be
Probably.
a little bit more attentive.
A little more
Well,
attention.
he was on the podcast with I don't know who it was, but he was on a podcast recently with a guy, and he seemed pretty solid there.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
You think that was him?
100%.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You think that was it?
100%. Yeah.
No, actually, I am being fair. I do think it was him. I also think it's just there's less pressure. What's up?
Can you bring the mic closer?
You wanted me here?
Yeah, because you usually talk pretty loud, and I see your audio waves a little low.
Son, it was okay. Whatever.
Oh.
You guys are funny.
Yeah, I mean, so whose cocaine was it?
Hey, man.
So do you think they give Biden like an Adderall when he goes on a podcast?
Probably.
Maybe, but I
The thing is, how old is he? Like
80 something.
Yeah, he's definitely on a bunch of medication.
So it's not so much that he's given a lot. I think there's just less pressure in those moments.
What do you mean?
That makes him like stuttered.
Yeah. So,
but like he won a presidential election. He debated with people.
Barely debated with people.
He barely debated, and like now he's president.
Listen. It wasn't. I don't think it was. He debated people. I just think there was two choices, and everyone hated one choice more than the other.
But that's every election now.
It's just flawed.
No, this election is not that. This election is not that.
This election?
This election is not that.
Like 2024.
2024. We're voting Vivek. We're voting Vivek.
You heard it.
We're voting Vivek Ramaswamy.
William announced it. He says Vivek's got his vote.
That's the guy I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like any of them.
I think want chaos.
Andrew's like on the same boat as us.
I think as long as there's a person in office, we're gonna go through the same bullshit.
I don't agree.
We need coders as
we need a technocracy.
Technocracy.
I don't agree with that either. That's a dystopia in my eyes.
Really? We're already in a dystopia.
Yeah, but we're in the best dystopia.
We're in a greedy dystopia.
We're in the best dystopia in my opinion.
I mean, okay, you know how like, and this is like out there. You know how Bitcoin is like codified, perfect, incorruptible money.
I don't agree with that statement 100% for sure.
Okay, tell me your point.
No, continue. You're going somewhere.
Okay. Which, by the way, Bitcoin is harder to change than any of these other coins.
100%.
Right, because
you can't falsify transactions.
Can't fall. Yeah, right. And I mean, a lot of these proof of stake coins are owned by big VCs that got the coins. The more coins you own in proof of stake, the more control you have over the validators, and the easier it is to manipulate the supply. Which is why I say Bitcoin is perfect codified money.
It's proof of work.
Proof of work, right?
It's energy based.
If you expend that energy and you try to falsify a transaction, they'll say no, that's not true, and also you just wasted electricity.
Yeah, basically. Not when over 50% of the mining is almost owned by giant firms.
Well, I mean,
some of those giant firms are the same exchanges that are publicly traded and centralized that are used.
Well, that's fine. That's the mining and the hash power, right? But then you have to look at the validator nodes, right? The miners sell energy, or they sell like the rewards to the validator nodes, which are more decentralized than the miners, and that's how you keep up with an increase in centralized mining.
More nodes.
The majority of validators, how they're split.
Of validators?
Yeah, that's a
Bitcoin validator.
Well, Bitcoin validators.
No, the nodes.
The nodes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you mean, like how they're split?
How decentralized they are.
Bitcoin. Yeah.
So essentially, in terms of mining pools, I think there's like 7 or 8 like huge mining pools that do make up more than 51%, but they're incentivized to not work together because
it's not about working together. It's how easily I can work together without working together.
Well,
it's just leaning towards one way over the other. In the smallest nudges.
So the biggest pool is BTC.com, according to this website. BTC.com with a market share per hash power of 26.4%. Then the other one is Amp Pool 13, Slush Pool at 11, almost 12.
26, 13, 11?
12.
12.
So if you want to start adding 26.4 plus 13.6 plus 11.9 plus the first 3 have 51%.
Oh, okay.
But they're not incentivized to work together, because if they were to work together and they were, because like he says, the nodes would see, these transactions are falsified.
It's not about being falsified. It's not about any of that. It's about how much it takes to just change one thing and just shift it over slowly. It doesn't have to be right away. It's one thing, just shift it. One command, shift it. The entire thing of like Ethereum, for example. Since some of these are considered publicly traded, not publicly traded, regulated to a degree. It also, for example, when we were sanctioning Russia, if you were a U.S. based company, any form of U.S. based crypto company, you were sanctioning Russia too. You were not allowing those transactions to go through. They didn't allow it. Same with Tornado Cash. Anyone using Tornado Cash and it got into their wallets, you weren't allowed. Those wallets got flagged, and they're supposedly decentralized. It's not about you taking full on control. It's about one shift, denying one thing that 3 companies, 51%, can do very easily without being a big dilemma.
So you're talking about denying transactions?
That's one example. Like they can deny specific transactions, very small ones.
Censorship.
Censorship to a degree.
Mm-hmm. In terms of these,
well, have you guys heard of Joe Lubin?
No, but share.
Joe Lubin was one of the early investors of Ethereum, right? He owns like 5 to 10% of the circulating supply.
Okay, that's a lot.
That's a lot, yeah, and that's common with most cryptos that are not Bitcoin, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
So basically, the transition from proof of work to proof of stake means that people like Joe Lubin, who I believe owns Consensus. Do you guys know who Consensus is? Mm-hmm. Consensus, 10% of them is owned by JP Morgan. Yeah. You guys know that. So people with all these coins control the network.
Oh, 100%.
So that's like my issue with proof of stake.
Oh, I'm okay with that. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah. So the way I see it is like, when you look at proof of work, proof of stake, yeah, you can say like all it takes is like a 51% attack, right?
Yeah.
By the miners, which you could say are centralized, right?
To a degree. Yeah.
To a degree. But I think the backstop to the miners being decentralized are the nodes, right? Mm-hmm. So like, how easy is it to like run a Bitcoin node? Like,
so you need just enough information for the blockchain to be stored, which is just over a terabyte right now.
Yeah.
And an internet connection.
Yes.
Solid internet connection.
So like the miners solve the cryptographic transactions and then report that to the nodes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think since it's easier to like own a node, I think more and more people will start popping up with this decentralization plot where it's like you have some people in China, some people in Japan.
Yeah.
I forgot. I lost my train of thought
because
here.
the thing is, when it comes to like approving transactions, it doesn't necessarily fall on the miner itself.
Yeah.
The miner could expend the energy, win the reward, but then the nodes themselves could be like, "Oh, you're not. These transactions are you approved? We don't agree with them either." So the nodes could check the miners in that sense.
Yeah. So it's like,
if the miners try to include falsified transactions, they would need consensus. They would need like node
consensus.
Node consensus, and that's unlikely. Like, there's too many people, and if a transaction were to be changed, falsified on one block, that falsification would need to be continued on block by block for the continuation of the rest of the time.
Yeah.
And the hashing power to verify the next block after that would be higher because the hash isn't the same as the original block, as the non-counterfeited block. Mm. Therefore, like, it's just not financially feasible to start conducting falsified transactions.
I'm not saying falsify everything. I'm not saying everything will be falsified. I'm saying
it's decentralized.
I'm just saying it's not perfect.
How?
I think it is perfect. I mean,
how is it not perfect?
Because we just saw that 3 companies own 51% of what was it? Mining power were we talking about, or was it node power?
3 mining pools own 51% of the mining power.
Of mining power.
What matters is the nodes.
And the mining pools also are groups of individuals that are just choosing to be a part of that pool.
Yeah, but if you run with the pool, it's what the pool is to.
Yeah, but if the pool doesn't agree, so the pools work under certain organizational structure. Like, they would do a certain amount of fees paid back to the miners. Like, if you were to have a miner at your house, you would connect to the pool and just supply some mining power, computational power to that pool.
Yeah.
If you choose to not agree with that pool, you could pull off your miner from that and reduce its mining power and apply it to another pool.
Yeah, so the miners give hash rate, right? And they give power. And then the nodes, in return, kind of give them the Bitcoin rewards, if I'm not mistaken.
The nodes? The nodes don't...
Yeah, the nodes... Oh, no, the nodes
don't provide any
kind of reward.
They just pretty much store information. The nodes store information. The miners provide the work for the information. Like, okay, we're gonna solidify this.
Yeah.
Send it out. You guys do what you need to do with it.
You're looking at centralization.
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin is pretty complex. The more you delve into it, because there's actually more moving parts than people realize. But as a whole, it does have like a lot of things that like people, have thought about. Like, this is not it's been 14 years since it's been around, and they've been making some soft forks and hard forks.
Yeah.
So there's trial and error already associated with this project.
Yeah, and I mean, I forgot what was I saying earlier. I called Bitcoin like perfect money. Oh, the technocracy thing.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that.
Yeah, I was watching a video.
The nodes are way more decentralized than
that. Yeah,
because nodes, just like you said, nodes
they're easier to run.
They're cheaper to run.
I will say, if the government gets to our Wi-Fi,
I mean, they already, when they had that TikTok hearing, they tried to implement something where they can go into like
TikTok
your Wi-Fi.
Can.
No.
So TikTok asks for router permission to see like packets
Oh.
being moved over the routers.
Oh.
So it connects.
So whenever you connect your phone to TikTok, your phone has TikTok. Whenever you connect it to a router, it automatically starts sniffing the router, essentially.
And it connects to everything. It has the ability to read.
It views other devices on the network.
To read the other devices on the network.
That's why the content slaps. Because it sees what you do on other devices.
Essentially. So when you log on, for example, you have TikTok on your phone, it connects. You log onto your computer, it reads your computer.
Or your smart TV. And says, oh, you like...
Or your Roomba.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I know that Congress wanted to implement something like that, which is ironic that TikTok does, where it's kind of like a Patriot Act 2.0.
I'm gonna be honest. Congress and its tech policies are not doing it. They're not with it. They don't understand.
I wonder why.
Because they're all old and they're all misinformed.
I think it's misinformed. I just think they're old.
They're old. They're misinformed, and they have what's it called? These
agendas.
People who are paying them under the table for a fact. Because
I don't think it has to be under. It's on the table.
it's on the table.
I mean, I think that the whole thing with... You guys saw the hearing with TikTok, right?
I
saw a little bit of it, not all of it.
It was terrible. It was like, so it didn't make any sense.
Yeah,
I think
that.
like
I heard that.
Obviously, I think Meta lobbies to like make their platform the dominant one, and I think it's Meta's fault for having like a shitty algorithm with their reels. But I do think that at a certain point in time, like TikTok was like outpacing Meta as far as like viewers and stuff like that.
Probably, yeah, for sure. I believe that.
And I know for a fact that like they lobby Congress, but I don't think the whole hearing was about like, you know, Meta's being like, oh, you know, we want to stay the dominant social media platform.
No, because the thing is, at that point, it's like, oh, there's government involvement in keeping one company above the others.
I mean, that which is normal in the United States, right? You have pharmaceutical companies, insurance companies, and you have, for example, FPL.
Florida Power Light.
Do you guys know any other power companies in Florida?
There isn't. It's a monopoly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because of lobbying.
Yeah, 100%.
So, I mean, I don't know.
One more,
I mean, there's individuals who have their own solar panels.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what he means is there's only one source of power when you get on the grid, and it's FPL.
Yeah. So I mean,
monopoly.
Especially in South Florida more than anywhere. I think up north a little bit, there's like one more, but it's very small.
yeah.
I don't know about but like since it's like closer to like other states, like I
That's
mean like
part- that's
Georgia,
probably
South
part of it.
Carolina,
Mm.
Illinois,
But other than that,
Louisiana.
anything from Orlando down, I think, or even a little higher than that, it's like purely FPL or gas.
Yeah.
And then to get gas in your house, if you don't have the pipe ran already, you have to put the pipe for the entire street.
For the entire street.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's insane.
Yeah, my brother's gonna do that.
Yeah,
But from where the gas line was to his house
it was too far.
was not a block, but it was a good amount to where if he wanted to do it, he would have to dig. He would have to pay
Mm-hmm.
the city to do all of it,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be for the street. Like it would be
Yeah.
connecting to other houses and everything. That can be argued. That thing argued.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a wild one. But there are a lot of monopolies that are paid and lobbied to stay as monopolies.
Yeah.
In terms of TikTok, I think part of the reason why it's still around is because they claim to have a separate entity that strictly operates in the United States.
But that's not true.
I mean, it's like paperwork. It just
The paperwork says that. But
Yeah.
that's not what's going on.
obvious.
What the hell does China want with our data?
Oh, good question.
Everything.
Financial benefit.
Why? What do you mean? Like
psychological advantage?
psychological advantage?
Yeah. So
how?
China definitely retains user activity, therefore increasing ad revenue, creating profits on their end. That's one way.
Okay.
That's one reason why they would want our data, so they can improve their algorithm and keep people using their application. Second reason would be, at least thinking of it like strategically, some type of psychological advantage in terms of psyops. We could implant certain ideologies into a population that's remote and
So like propaganda.
to a degree. Propaganda, or just, I wouldn't necessarily say propaganda, because propaganda is pretty blunt and blatant about certain information. I'd say more so like just either logical fallacies and present logical fallacies in the way people think, or some type of ulterior way of thinking, like just different psychological. I'm not an expert in psychology, but essentially like some implement ways to like twist and alter the way a group of individual thinks, and therefore gain some type of influence over that group.
Okay. But what about like free will and like
Now you're asking a funny question.
and like not like, okay, the idea has been presented. I'm not gonna believe that. What about like, because I think it's good to challenge ideas, right? But I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I go on TikTok and I see some shit and I'm like, this is definitely like pushed by like some communist party.
So in terms of free will, that's a rough question, because it's a very deep question. Like, you have to ask yourself, what is free will? How does it work? Like, obviously, the determination of certain ideologies and accepting or subscribing to those ideologies would be considered free will. It's like, I don't know what's a good example, but essentially your acceptance or your willingness to accept those ideas comes from previous experiences. So whatever you experience beforehand will determine what you'll determine to be true or false in the future.
Yeah.
And if you can prime certain people or prime individuals with certain beliefs throughout like their time, then in some future you could kind of determine what their decisions are going to be, like how they're going to spend money, spend time, or how they're going to act in general.
Yeah.
So in terms of free will, it's like I wouldn't even necessarily say free will's real.
Me neither.
It's just something that we perceive to be true.
Yeah.
Perceived to be true, because it's not necessarily.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that like China or Russia has kind of in a way infiltrated like the United States, starting from like the 60s. And I know a lot of colleges push like these like socialist ideas and whatnot. And did you guys hear about those two Navy soldiers that were caught like taking a bribe from China to like sell information?
No,
but
I
what
haven't.
happens? We do the same thing.
We do?
Yeah.
The Navy soldiers. You mean?
I'm saying we do the same thing to China. Like we pay people in China to give us information on China, for sure.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
We do that with Russia. We do that with everyone.
Those are called assets, like
Yeah.
informants.
Yeah, and I mean there was like a Chinese police headquarters in like New York.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was great.
They shut that
like,
down.
They in here.
Yeah,
Like they're here.
Yeah.
They're in here as much as we allow them to be in here. I'm not saying there are probably aspects of that.
So yeah, in terms of like ideologies being introduced, I do come from like the belief that we are all humans sharing one planet, and information is just being spread from one point to another. With the advancement of technology, that information gets spread faster, and we influence each other more. Is that a bad thing? Only depends on what your previous experiences are. Because new information can challenge your previous experiences and may cause you to change your ideologies, and that is like a death of a previous version of you.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's still information or some type of ideology that someone else believes to be true or valid. We do share this earth. I think at some point we will share ideas and information more so than we do today. In terms of like, I want to say like philosophical ideologies, I kind of perceive myself to be a transhumanist, where in the future we're just like, we as humans today are just a version in history.
He wants the implant, that's what he's saying.
As time progresses, we're not the final product. Humans are not the final product. We're just a product within this time period that continues to
Yeah. No, yeah,
stretch.
I get what you're saying. And I mean, I think that, you know, the rapid pace that like technology is growing at does make it way easier to like send information, and there's a lot of information out there. And I do think it can like also confuse a lot of people and influence heavy crowds, like you were saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which might be the purpose of TikTok, right? It
Definitely.
conveniently started popping off in the middle of the pandemic, right? When people had nothing else to do, locked up at home. Open up TikTok, get that algorithm. But yeah, I mean,
I think the issue comes when people take information in blindly, don't verify it themselves or test or experiment with it,
which is the majority of people,
and become lost and or confused
yeah,
with what was given. Sometimes, since it's short form information, a lot of information gets lost, cut, or edited in a way that's not fully encompassing of the idea, of the concept.
Mm-hmm.
And that causes confusion. And that's where the issue is. There's a lack of understanding due to the short bits of information. And then on top of the fact that the information doesn't get like inscribed into like conscious awareness, it just doesn't stay firm, and you don't really learn the concept. You just get a bit of the idea.
Yeah.
And that causes like cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
I think that's where like the true issue comes.
Yeah, I think the videos need like more context behind them, and I think just 30-second snippets of information
it's not sufficient.
not good for society.
That's why we do the long form content.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, you guys noticed like the jobs in the US, it's more influencers like by the day, which I'm not saying is bad, but China is creating scientists and engineers.
That's the algorithm.
Yeah, it's the algorithm. So I mean, I think that the way things are going is like, okay, where like what does the society value, right? Like, what does the US really value now? Like, everybody's coming up on social media. You know, we have this lovely podcast, obviously long form, which is good. But But then you have those short form content creators that don't really contribute any value to society, I think. And I think like one thing that like the Congress people brought up was like how it affects like the youth and it messes with like their attention span.
But that's we already know that. There's a reason
Yeah.
why he hates a podcast longer than an hour. He can't. It bores him out. I'm
Yeah,
saying you because I specifically know you don't.
Well,
after an hour, you tune out.
Because we've been conditioned to short form
Yeah.
content.
Yeah. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. The more short form content that I consume, I would say that the more difficult it is for me to consume long form content. Like sitting through a 3-hour movie, like that seems dreadful.
Yeah.
But at the same time, in terms of like podcasts, like listening to other podcasts, I think it's also like a time constraint thing. Like there's certain things that you want to do throughout your day. I find it difficult to work and listen to a podcast at the same time, so I wouldn't be able to do that. Other people don't have that same.
I'm just saying I'm not. That's not. I'm saying there's more. There's a lot of people.
Yeah, they want short form information. Yeah, short form content. Absolutely, that's a trend, at least here in the United States.
Yeah. So I mean,
so
that's my point. What was my point?
What does China want with your information?
What does China want with your information? Maybe to sell it. Maybe it wants to mess with the attention span of the youth.
They already mess with attention span.
I mean, Facebook has been doing that for years.
Attention
right?
span?
Yeah.
That's all
Not the same.
tech companies want.
No.
Your attention.
Yeah,
No,
your
no,
attention.
Way different.
I don't think so.
Yeah, from TikTok, we've gone from consuming a piece of content from the example would be 2 to 5 minutes, getting an idea, versus you watch a reel. If in 5 seconds you're not tuned into it, you're swiping.
What about Vine?
It failed. It transitioned. Viners went from that to YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
and then it failed because we wanted longer. The original TikTok was Vine, and it did not work at the time
Mm-hmm.
until because of the algorithm and everything else. And then this went to YouTube. YouTube did 5 to 10 minute videos, 10 to 20s. Now then podcast really popped off. Pandemic, TikTok.
Well, TikTok was actually around before.
Yeah, it was Musical.ly,
Musical.ly.
and it was Musical.ly something
Yeah.
like that. But that was like more of a live streaming platform. Then that's shifted more towards TikTok. But it progressed. It went short to long to really long to short, and now it's just really super short and then just super long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're seeing a polarization of content creation now.
The most popular podcasts are not 1 hour podcasts. It's 2 up. The top 10s are not 1 hour.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, they have very interesting people on their podcast, and they talk about, you have well-known people like Joe Rogan, PPD.
Yeah, but
These are all-
but Rogan always did 2 hour plus.
Yeah.
PPD does minimum 2 hours.
Yeah.
Andrew Schultz, Flagrant does minimum 2 hours, an hour and a half, an hour plus.
An hour,
40.
hour and a half plus.
Yeah.
Like if they do an hour and a half, it's rare. Drink Champs, hour plus. What is it? Call Her Daddy, when it was really popping, hour plus. All podcasts that were super popular, it's hour plus.
Yeah, I mean, it's lengthy. It's a different form of content, right? It's
Yeah,
lengthy
100%.
conversation. So, but back to the point. So, what does China want with my data?
I'm not disagreeing with anything that you guys said. I just think that's just like one part of it.
Yeah.
I just think they also have all of our banking information that they can access.
Or banking information. I mean,
Yeah, they have your passwords to get in.
yeah. I mean, I think any black hat organization probably has your banking passwords.
Yes.
I mean,
It's different when it's an entire country that has the ability to access everyone's banking information.
we're actually probably going to face a large scale like cyber attack at some point,
So I was listening to a podcast, which was a fictional podcast.
Fictional?
which is why it's good for you and me to be in this industry.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it was a fictional podcast. They talked about the first pandemic being COVID. The second pandemic they had in the podcast was called the big. I forgot what it was called, but it was like big erase. All data, cloud data, gone.
Gone.
Money, gone. Everything gone. Went to sticks and stones from one day to another.
That's wild. I mean, and what do you think comes after that? Some sort of government blockchain?
Well, there was no blockchain. There was no blockchain after that. It was just all hell broke loose. I would assume the same.
Yeah.
Because the entire fear of during COVID was, what if we cannot access water? What if we cannot access food? What are we gonna do? The system can handle that for a week.
Just
After a week,
it's all hell.
it's all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
You're on your own. You gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
Guns and bullets is all. It's all that matters at that point.
Yeah, like if the power grid goes down,
Guns and bullets.
and I mean, I think the power grid is distributed through like 5 different areas of the country, and they're not all interconnected.
No.
But if you take down just 2 of those,
You're screwed. Half the country has no power.
yeah,
Over half the country could probably have no power.
yeah. So I think a power grid upgrade is like that's something that we should probably prioritize. Because
Yeah. No, there's a lot.
I think having a decentralized power grid would be the move.
yeah,
Everyone having solar panels at their houses, plus community
nuclear
power is where it's at.
nuclear power is the
bang for
cleanest.
your buck.
cleanest. Yeah,
A lot of people are scared of nuclear power. Nuclear power has changed a lot since like
We're scared because all the old grids that we had were from 50 years ago,
yeah.
and they've never been there's no new updated 2023 version of nuclear power plants
Yeah.
that are probably smaller, cleaner, faster, less wasteful,
cheaper
above.
cheaper to operate.
Cheaper.
They're already
to operate.
cheaper to operate.
They're the
They're
cheapest
already
option.
cheaper to operate.
Yeah.
Mother trucker.
It's warm again.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I think China wants just to have overall just mass information, so the day it needs to either blackmail or something, it can do that.
Influence. They want influence.
Okay.
Short answer.
Short answer is just for influence.
That's
Which they already have
Yeah.
by TikTok.
Yeah. I mean, I think TikTok is like one small way that
Yeah,
they
it's
would do
one.
that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's so many facets to it.
It is one small way, but it's the most eyeballs.
So now we're gonna, I guess, talk about climate change. Like, what do you guys think is the end game here?
I don't know what you mean by that.
Yeah.
You say end game, and
Like, are we just fucked?
Why would you think that? We are one of the most adaptive species in the entire world. We'll figure this shit out.
Yeah, but how about the rest of the world?
We have no say in this.
No. I can assure you that we're not. You think politicians want to die?
You think?
I like this.
Do you think
Oh, grab the mic, buddy. Get into it.
Everyone's grabbing the mics.
if you throw that water bottle on the ground and someone makes you feel bad about it, you think that little fucking water bottle is gonna make the earth a little bit warmer? Or do you think it's the big fucking companies dumping shit into rivers and giving off emissions?
So it's not the one. I realize that.
it's the accumulation of ones, right?
Yeah.
But and I'm not saying do not throw water bottles on the street,
You
please.
pieces of crap.
Just don't feel bad
But,
because your role in climate change is minuscule
Yeah.
compared to that of big corporations.
Yeah, and don't feel good about reducing your carbon footprint either because it doesn't make a difference.
No, I think that, I would feel good for reducing my carbon footprint.
It would feel good, but it doesn't make a difference.
So I don't know. Either or, the water bottle topic is fun. My job, they have water bottles. It's literally what they have. How many packs of water do you think they go through a day?
Fuckload.
It's 200 plus people. I ran small numbers. I myself, in the beginning, was drinking 7 bottles a day. I cut what?
No, nothing. I'm
Oh,
just listening. I'm just
right? It
listening.
was 7 bottles a day. I was like, if the amount of people that we had in the building, they didn't even drink 7.
4. I was thinking 4. And I feel like 4 is a lot.
4 is a lot. 4 is way too
I
much.
was thinking 4 because I don't think a lot of people hydrate themselves the way they should be.
If it's the 200 people, assuming rough numbers, times the 2, it's only 400 people. That's in one day. Let's do it times the 5. That's 2,000. Now let's do it times 11.
40.
40 weeks.
Yeah, 40 weeks.
That's 80,000 bottles.
Yep. That adds up.
That's a lot of bottles.
And that's short.
There's probably more.
Because 40 weeks is like, I'd probably say like 45 weeks is close.
Maybe,
to
yeah. It's 80,000 bottles.
Okay.
in 1 year.
But okay.
One company.
Did you
One
guys
company.
You guys heard about like those railroads, those trains that derailed?
Oh, we had
Released a bunch of chemicals.
We had a
a whole
whole
episode on
on
that. Derailments.
And
Go check it out.
like they're basically go check it out.
I'm gonna see
guys.
if we put it on the.
Well, Here's, right? Here's.
Something like
Just
I want
that.
Or
to
down there.
remind you guys to subscribe and hit that
And like
notification bell.
There we go. The
So we-
plug-in.
Yeah, there we go. For this lovely podcast, you guys are missing out if you're not getting those notifications.
Yep.
Just telling you.
He's a great sales pitch right there.
Yeah, there you go. You gotta sell it. But yeah, man.
Is that
And like
worse? Yes.
nobody gave a shit. Like nobody's holding them responsible. They'll probably pay a fine.
You know
Hold
why?
who
That's it.
responsible?
The government.
The railroad
that's,
companies.
That's,
Oh,
that's
that's-
handled by the DOT.
Department of Transportation.
Yes. That's handled by DOT. Yeah, it's not. There's a reason for that. That's our attention span.
Yeah.
I think
as humans.
I think that was all also part of like a ploy to bring
Because-
attention away from something else.
Yeah, because at the same time that the trains were happening, it was when the first China balloons were coming out,
Yeah.
and we talked about in that pod how the China balloons is the distraction for the derailment.
Let's talk about these distractions. UFOs. Okay. Why now?
Conspiracy corner.
Why now?
I think personally, at the rate this is going, it's all bullshit.
It is.
It's either bullshit or it's a soft rollout.
I think they're giving the people what they want. Like
Yeah.
they.
And also, if it's why now, why does no one care?
Because
Yeah, like. Have you seen those memes where it's like Congress talking about aliens and then it's like the people are like, huh?
I haven't seen them, but yeah.
Nobody gives a shit.
have you ever denied alien existence?
No, I think
No one's ever denied it. So like, oh, why are you surprised? They're like, oh,
Why aren't there
it's
more
just-
people? Yeah, but we make bigger headlines for things that are also. Did we ever deny child sex trafficking that happened in the world? But we were so surprised when Epstein was caught.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we were surprised that he was found, like he committed suicide.
And no one has been charged with crimes on this list.
No one's
And
been brought in.
Exactly. And the list of names that came out that had multiple big corporations and everything. What's going on there? JP Morgan's $1 billion cargo ship that was full of drugs.
Yep,
What happened
Yep.
there?
Yeah.
that's wild. No one cares. Money,
You get-
money rules the world.
Speaking of a ship, did you guys hear about? Well, damn, this is another conspiracy. I hate that I'm just
It's
bringing
okay.
up.
Conspiracy corner. It's
Okay, conspiracy corner time. Did you guys hear about the Titanic conspiracy behind that?
The Ocean Gate.
Wait, what's a conspiracy? Shoot.
So apparently the Titanic was full of JP Morgan's competitors, and he was supposed to be like like the actual guy, the banker.
JP Morgan.
Ray Dalio, the CEO of JP Morgan.
No, not I'm talking about like the 1900s,
Oh, you're talking about the actual Titanic.
the actual
Yeah,
Titanic.
yeah. He's talking about the actual Titanic.
Okay,
Yeah.
got you.
So apparently JP Morgan was the guy was supposed to be on the ship.
Yeah.
A bunch of his competitors were on that ship, and the conspiracy theory is he had it sank.
I don't believe that.
That's conspiracy.
That's a conspiracy.
That's conspiracy.
I don't believe that.
I don't think I believe it either, but
It's just
It's
conspiracy.
a fun one, but I don't believe that.
it's a fun little.
Why? Because he was
Snippet.
okay. So Titanic was making its way over to the United States.
No, if it was.
It was full of all these wealthy people.
Yeah, it was
and,
going. It was going from New York, I think. It
To New York. I was going to New York.
Y'all keep talking.
we don't know shit about history.
We don't know.
No, I think it was coming.
We don't know anything about the Titanic.
We don't know anything about the Titanic.
It's old news.
All we know is Jack was really cold.
And the door wasn't able to float with both
Yeah.
of them.
Okay, it was going to New York. It sailed from Southampton, England, to New York. It was on its way to New York,
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
And it hit on an iceberg.
and it hit an iceberg.
yeah. So
Supposedly.
that's the Titanic.
Like, okay, so like
conspiracy.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. How did JP Morgan put the iceberg there?
Oh, he didn't. He had the captain.
He had the captain sink the ship, but the captain would have to been paid. His family would have had a life, but then the captain still died with the ship.
Did he though?
Yeah. It's reported he never got off.
Oh, he never got off.
Because then the reason I say that is because then he would have had to file the SOS, or he would have had to have a mini lifeboat somewhere,
Yeah.
and then no one would have had to see him, which is likely
Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were no lifeboats on it.
There were lifeboats, but like children and women first.
Children and women first. Oh, okay. See how much I know about the Titanic?
Mhm.
So like it would have been like he was Captain of it had to been blackmailed into doing so.
Blackmail probably would be a good one.
So then at that point, it's still like
or like financial liberation for his family.
But even at that point, you're still the captain of a ship, one of the most popular ships. I don't think you're not getting paid well.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
so
financial liberation is what I'm saying. Like,
I'm seeing the owners of the.
Who knows? Maybe he blackmailed the captain's family or something. Captain with.
Yeah, but yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about
anyway, super deep conspiracy that probably doesn't exist. But we were talking about
the aliens
and global warming
and the small rollout.
Global warming.
Anyway, what do you think?
He wants to go back to global warming.
Like, what's the end game for global warming?
He wants to go back. The end game. I need to know what you mean by
Are we all just gonna drown?
Okay, no, I don't think. Okay,
because it gets hotter by the year.
I like where this
That's
went.
the trend.
So I saw a thing from Neil deGrasse Tyson where he explained volume. If you get a cup of ice, you have ice in it already, and you fill it with water, the ice can melt. The water will not overflow out because the volume is already accounted for once the water is filled.
But that's just with ice. We have land here. You know what I'm saying?
The land's not moving. There's not more land.
So the land's there's not. The land's not moving, but there is ice on top of land.
That's where it comes from.
Yeah.
That's where the issue is. If the ice that's on land starts to melt
then,
at high rates and starts going into the water, then yes, we will have that thing of water rising.
That's not the only threat, though. It's not just the water level rising.
Well, that's the only.
Yeah, of course. But in terms of the same topic, ice melting, the salinity levels will start to change.
And density within the water?
Yeah, of salts within the water because
it becomes more fresh.
Yeah, and that causes trouble with like the ocean's environment ecosystem.
I think fish will be fine.
I don't think they'll be fine.
With more, they'll manage.
They'll manage.
As of right now, fish haven't started to die because it's less solidified, because it's more fresh.
So the thing is, when it comes to global warming, there's multiple facets that needs to be looked at because like. We disrupt the ocean's environment all the time.
Yeah. Anchors, dredging.
Dredging is really bad. Net fishing.
Yeah.
Net fishing. Coral reefs.
Yeah.
The fucking reefs.
More so it's the hot affecting shallower parts because it cooks anything that's there. Because the water gets at 100 degrees. Anything in that 100-degree area is getting cooked up.
Yeah, it's too hot.
If they don't get out, which for the most part.
Global warming.
Yeah, 100%.
But like you look at the trend, I mean, every summer it goes higher and higher.
So that's like so that plays into two things. It's also the Earth's it's the Earth's natural progression cycle. So the theory is that Earth goes through these ice ages and then just like blazing hot, and the Earth hasn't gone through an ice age ever since the last ice age. What they're saying is the theory is we should have shifted already to another ice age, and humans, our involvement in just progression has stopped it.
So I don't know what stage we're supposed to be in. And
ice age. We should be in an ice age.
And there are cycles of like heat, cold. Like the environment is fluctuating. The same way like in 1 year we have summer and winter. Over millennia, we have like
summer and
winters. The issue is that us as humans being so influential in the world that we're in, as the rate that we're at, we cause changes that aren't. I wouldn't say it's not natural because we are natural beings, but it's not consistent.
We've slowed down the progression
with what history has been. So like what would take thousands of years beforehand can happen in hundreds of years now because of human involvement.
Yeah,
like the Sahara Desert, it also is said that it should shift. It goes through cycles. There are 5,000 times. There's a period in 5,000 years that it shifts from desert to forest, and we're currently in the middle of it shifting from desert. It went from forest. It's in desert stage. It should be shifting from this stage to forest again in another 2,000-3,000 years.
Assuming the environment is natural. Right? Assuming that we're not fucking with it with all our stupid chemicals and emissions.
Yes.
So now you said something that I like talking about because we are a species of conscious awareness, and in terms of where we are in the scale of like life, we are not. Do you know what like the different types of civilizations are? Like
Type 0, type 1.
type 2, 3.
We're
We're
0, right? We're
0.
approaching
0.75.
0.7, 0.8.
0.75, yeah.
We're
Yeah.
approaching type 1.
We
Yeah.
should be type 1 by 2100.
So to be a type 1 civilization means to have complete energy efficiency within your planet, control of your environment, and just natural sustainability within the single planetary system.
Yes.
Type 1 civilizations approaching type 2 would be able to do that on multiple planets within their solar system. So we haven't really conquered type 1 civilization. In terms of what you just said and messing with the environment and chemicals.
Which we are starting to mess with the environment.
That's part of that progression. Being able to control weather so that ideally there wouldn't be natural disasters completely affecting.
Less natural disasters.
But we would be able to do that on Earth, on Mars, on Neptune, or like for the most part.
Planets that we can inhabit.
In approaching type 2, which would take another.
Is type 2
another
terraforming? Or is
No,
that
that's type 1.
That's type 1.
That's
Type
1.
1 is terraforming.
Okay.
Type 2 is planetary travel, essentially.
Like freely. Solar system dominance.
Yeah.
Having being able to completely utilize the power of the sun, which is going to be the largest energy source within our solar system.
So how long do you think it'll take before?
It's 1,000 years.
For what?
Type 2.
Before we get to type 1.
After we get to type 1. Type 1, I think.
2100. That's the schedule.
Yeah, I think, Well, I don't think we're too far off.
Yeah, type 1.
Especially at the rate that we're progressing now, and
The-
Bitcoin and AI being a part of it, we're definitely going to get
Do you
there.
think the planet is ever going to get to a point where they can work together for once?
What do you mean? That's
People
what,
stop
that,
trying to kill each other and just
I think that's what
Man,
come up with a plan.
people are going to always want to be greedy and want to do that, and that's just the natural human nature. We are individualists at every turn of our aspects.
Mm-hmm.
It will just slowly progress from that to understanding that, you know what? We're only here for X amount of time. We're not going to see anything past this. What is the point of being greed and being all this? I think once we get better at scarcity, understanding that things aren't fully scarce, that there are other opportunities to either eat, make money, whatever it may be.
I don't think we even have that much scarcity right now. I mean,
we do. We just can't see it.
like,
what do you mean? Scarcity of like resources and materials?
Yeah.
So
Amazon.
there is enough to work with, and we don't have we haven't maximized utilization, reduced waste. We haven't improved maximized optimization
Efficiency.
efficiency. That's what we're working on right now.
yeah.
Once we could do that, then we should be able to survive and sustain life here on this planet.
Yeah, hopefully.
I think that's endgame. I have an extremely large amount of faith in humankind as a whole. In terms of like life has succeeded and continued to survive since its dawn. That's why we're here. It might not be humans that stay at the end, but
I think we're at a pretty big pivotal point.
Yeah, but that period
We're in a pretty big make it or break it stage.
Oh, but that's
in a
always
way.
life is the
It's
most
always-
delicate thing on this.
But to
in
the scale
existence.
that it's in now, we have nuclear power. We have
Mhm.
right. It can be balanced out. With.
Yeah,
We have
absolutely.
advanced technology that is open and can allow the people to see what's actually going on and discuss things. Right. Whereas before, you would just have a government that kind of imposes its will 100% on its people. Right. Thank God for the internet.
Mhm.
But the large scale of like technologies that we have and how much these technologies can like fuck with the earth is
It's
crazy.
great.
It's great. It's crazy and it's terrifying, but it's also awesome.
Yeah.
We have nuclear, we have computing power, which down the line improves quality of life,
Yeah.
right? It's good to be bullish on technology, I think. Oh, dude, I was going to tell you guys about this other show on Netflix was it on Netflix? I think it's on Netflix. It's a show called Inside Job.
Okay.
You ever watched
I've
it?
seen a few episodes.
So fucking funny.
I've seen a few episodes.
I haven't watched it.
So funny. It addresses like all the conspiracies
Oh, yeah?
In America.
Yeah, and how like the government has like a special division for
For that?
all that type of stuff.
Yeah, and like it says the reason we have global warming is because we have lizard people running the country and they're cold-blooded.
So they need
to
stay
like
warm.
I think that's a solid theory.
I mean, I don't want to be the one that says it is, but
Lizard people.
I mean, that's what they call Trump, a lizard person.
and the Zuck.
And the Zuck is also a lizard person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe.
Maybe like these logical thinking, cold-blooded lizard people are just trying to, live in the heat. But
Oh, I know we ended on where that global warming is going to figure itself out.
Oh, we were talking about like
you think it's gonna figure itself out?
I think we're going to figure it out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we were talking about like civilization progressing.
You don't think all the elites are just gonna go to Mars?
No,
Leave us stranded?
doesn't make sense. That's too
Doesn't make
depressing.
You know why? Because let's say they do, then what? Assume the elites go somewhere.
They're gonna have to work.
Who's going to do everything? Themselves? Who's never done the base job?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right, but
Like in every show you've watched that they go transit to another planet, they have to take a little bit of everyone, because even the elites are like, I'm not going to do that.
Mhm.
We're going to go somewhere else, and we have to redo everything without other people to do it. It doesn't. That's dumb.
not because they want to go to Mars, but if we're at a point where we can't reverse it.
It doesn't make sense for them to, even if they don't choose to go and they're forced to go.
By elite, do you mean like the people top in their industry, or do you mean just the wealthiest individuals?
Probably the wealthiest,
I think it's top and wealthiest.
top wealthiest 1%.
Yeah.
Rothschilds.
Who are the Rothschilds anymore?
The people who fund the project and the people who operate the project.
The Rothschilds created I think like the first big central bank in
Yeah.
England.
But they're not popping anymore. Generational wealth is hard to maintain. The Rothschilds are the ones who did it the best. That lasted like 9 generations, if I'm not mistaken. PBD talks about this all the time.
Yeah. So, I mean, just throwing that out there.
No, I
Right.
don't. I'm not that much of a pessimist when it comes to the world global warming. I think there are more solutions. I think we have more, not even hope. I think there's more to it than that. And I think we can figure that aspect out.
And do you believe like all this ESG stuff?
That they want to control. No, it's just a bunch of bullshit.
That sounds like an agenda to me.
No, it is an agenda. Fuck them.
Do you think it'll actually help global warming?
ESG, no. ESG is nothing else but controlling the top 1% of assets under management
Yeah.
and people.
Yeah. I mean, I see it as a big fat agenda.
Yeah, it is.
For
100% ESG is a big fat agenda. Why would we think the top 1% of people who go to Davos for this ESG care about the environment? I'm a proponent for using private jets. I would use one in a heartbeat. Tell me why there was like 10 private jets that were flown in to Davos.
Yeah.
It's like for them, that was their Formula One
Yeah.
or their Super Bowl. And you're gonna tell me these people care?
So if they're not gonna fix it, who's gonna fix it?
The people.
The
People
people.
who truly care. Not activists who spout and just say they
And
care.
who's that?
The people who create the technology to save it. The people who create the net, to clean our oceans, for example. There is, I don't know the company's name. They created a thing that you put in docks and ports, that it's a leveler. That's a big net that literally, as water goes down, it attracts. So it's pulling water, has a little pump, attracts water, takes dirt, pushes it down and into a net. Those people, the people who create the thing used to fix the problems. Not the person who glues their hand to the floor like an idiot. Not the person who goes to
people.
Porsche and glues himself to the Porsche floor like a moron.
The person who glues their hand to the floor.
Like a fucking idiot. Not the idiot who goes to fucking the Louvre and throws a can of some shit to
Of spaghetti sauce.
to the Mona Lisa saying that's activism. That's a fucking moron.
That's a moron.
No, none of those idiots. They're not doing anything but getting clout like a moron.
Yeah.
But the smart ass, the intelligent person figuring out solutions to the actual problems.
Yeah.
Everyone else who does anything else that's not solutions is a moron.
Mm-hmm.
Greta Thunberg, a moron.
Fucking moron.
If she comes after us, you can't. There's not much to come after.
Please don't sue us.
No, sue him, not me.
But you're a moron.
But yeah, no, man, no. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think smart people will prevail. And like you said earlier, that pivot you talked about, we are the people, the next generation is the pivot. Sadly, everyone in offices now that are in their 80s, 70s, they're going to get swapped out. Not by choice, just because it's the...
I think that it's that everybody in office, like, I mean, I guess you were getting to this point, is like they can serve an unlimited amount of consecutive terms. Like Congress, it can keep running.
Yeah, it's a scam.
And also, this is a bit out there, but I think that presidents shouldn't be allowed to run twice or serve twice.
No, I twice. No, that
because the first election term, they're focusing on re-election, right? So they're pushing an agenda to get re-elected.
I think that's the argument more so for Congress, because Congress has to rerun every 2 years, or Senate.
Well, I mean, Congress, yeah, that's a different story, but I think that the president, right?
But okay, my question is, in terms of the presidency, can you really get much done in 4 years?
I mean, no, but
okay, so
you probably could get more done if you didn't have to think about re-election.
Probably, yeah, of course. Because I do agree that a lot of the first term is spent on securing your second term.
Yeah.
8 years is a good amount of time. I feel like you can get a lot done in 8 years. What solution do you have to... Because if 4 years is not enough...
Well, I mean...
Would you just say that...
I think across the board, like, not just the president, but Congress should be very limited in the amount of times that they're allowed to serve.
100%.
Because if not, they're just...
Are there enough qualified individuals to fill this?
There would be. It would cause the need for them.
Mm-hmm. Again, to the point that I was making, I guess, a while ago, is like kind of a scam that like we have to vote for people to make decisions for us, like to vote on laws and all that. At the end of the day, is it really like a democracy if we're not the ones directly?
So I think the issue there is that we're gonna assume that the mother or father who's raising a family of 3 or a family of 2 is going to take enough time out of their day to do the necessary amount of research to understand enough of those issues. Or not, let's take away from the mother and father, who the family of 2 or 3 or 1, or the couple.
But they're voting for someone to handle those issues, so they should know what they're voting for in a way, right? I mean, I think we've become very polarized, choosing red or blue.
Because the issue is that the people look at things red or blue when it's not.
Yeah. I mean...
So, typically, part of the reason why we vote for someone is because they have, like, some type of track record history that aligns with with individual. Yeah. So, you're delegating your voting power to them.
But I think... Right, I mean, someone can start off as like a councilman for like the city and then move their way up to governor, president. Yeah. And I think the more they move up the ranks, the more susceptible they are to lobbying and corruption and greed.
So
I think that happens at any level. Yeah. Because government is the same no matter what. It's just
well, if you're the governor for the state of Florida, and an insurance company is going to lobby a lot of money to you and not a city councilman.
Well, yeah, it's different for
100%.
Because you have more influence.
Yeah,
I think the issue there goes. It's not more so that, it's more so I don't remember when the change happened. I know PBD talked about it was when they allowed big corporations to lobby. Yeah, which is part of the issue of this whole ESG thing, is that these big corporations have an unlimited amount of money to where they can go, here's $10 million, do what I want,
pass this into law,
or not even pass it. Give me a heads up on everything that's going to go against me.
Yeah. No, for sure.
So I can make the adjustment beforehand.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that. So I think it starts changing from the way we lobby to, okay, big companies, you're screwed. You're not allowed to influence any voters.
And what about like stock manipulation?
What?
Not stock manipulation, but insider trading. That's the word.
For who?
Should be illegal.
Should be super illegal.
Wait. It is illegal. For who?
for the people, for government.
For government?
It's not that illegal.
You see I'm asking for who?
They shouldn't be allowed to trade stocks.
And why are they making their own rules for it?
Because it's a lie and a scam. Anyone in government should not be allowed to directly invest into stocks. They should only be allowed to invest into public funds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not a bad policy.
Yeah.
At least I don't think
but government is susceptible to corruption.
That's the issue.
Which is my original point.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
So, I don't think much is going to change. I mean, it's always been like that for thousands of years, right? Human history. It's always been one big person or a few big people in power who are imposing on their society, which is...
That's why the idea is that America wasn't found on that. Even though they did fuck shit to get here, it was found on the little person, not the little person, but the person,
the individual
being able to
pursue life, liberty,
and freedom.
Yeah. So
I think it's strained from that, just because as everything, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you're like, oh, the game gets more complex.
Yeah.
Like when you have to deal with 1,000 people is way different than having to deal with 350 million people, and then millions of people trying to come in, and then hundreds of thousands of people trying to leave, and then 10,000, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. State of international relationships today is much more complicated, and domestic relationships also.
And then what they call the swamp is also a big issue.
Also, yeah.
The swamp?
The DC.
The DC. They call that the swamp.
Oh.
It used to be a swamp.
Yeah.
Is that where Shrek is?
No.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's why they say candidates that are... Like right now you said you don't like any candidates, right?
I don't.
That's fair. Now, that's not the argument I'm making. But not liking any candidate is also like, okay, then what do you want? What's the person, or not just you, to anyone, who is it that you're looking for? What is it that you're looking for?
I don't want a person. I want a systemic change, right?
Someone has to give that systemic change. Saying you want systemic change without putting a person to do that systemic change, it doesn't work.
It's not just a person, though. You need people to make a systemic change, right? Because you have one person, it's going to be the same shit. It's like, did you guys ever watch that movie, The Interview?
I think that's because we got the same people doing the same job. But what movie?
The Interview with Seth Rogen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the original plan was to, kill Kim Jong-un?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was one lady who said, like, oh, getting rid of him, replacing him is not going to do anything. It's just going to be the same thing. What they need is, like, a systemic change. And that's radical because that's, like, North Korea, and that's, like, more extreme. But I think the way that things are run here, I think the fact that we got our credit rating lowered says a lot about the governance that we have here. And I don't just think it's the people who want to be in charge. I think it's the way that things are run, like the whole machine.
But the machines ran like that because you've had the same people running the machine.
So, yeah, it goes hand in hand.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is you have the same politicians that you said, because you said early on, like, oh, it was downgraded from AAA to 2A to AA, and that they said the change started to happen 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We've had the same politicians for the last 20 years in multiple positions.
Yeah.
They haven't been taken out, meaning we haven't switched the system. Your systemic change starts by switching out the people who are in the system.
We're changing the system itself.
Instead of allowing the people who are in the system to just
continue to run,
die, right? Get to an age where, like, what I mean is, like, you shouldn't just have people in the system forever. Like,
no,
we're agreeing.
We're agreeing.
We're on
the same page here.
Yeah, we're on the same page. So, like,
age limits, term limits,
yeah,
100% to keep the system changing.
Like, we need fresh faces, and we need, not just on the executive level, not the presidential
starts
level.
At the executive, because that's the guy who can go with executive orders and be like, you know what? If he truly feels like that, I can make that change.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, he has to be willing to accept, if I do those things, I may not get a second term, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Which the person who really should do it or who could do it is the current president.
Yep. Absolutely. The current president has the absolute ability to just
be like, you know what? I am going to set term limits. I am going to do this. I am going to do that. You know why? Because it doesn't matter for me.
Mm-hmm.
I only have X amount of time. Even if I do run again and win again, whatever happens,
It's unlikely. It's unlikely that he's gonna win.
No,
it's unlikely that he's
not
gonna
unlikely.
be.
It's not unlikely at all. It's not unlikely.
Vivek?
No,
No, Biden.
Biden.
It's not like he's gonna win.
He's. I don't think
He's not gonna win. I
not
don't think. I
gonna
don't
win.
think.
And I'm not saying
I don't think his party,
I don't think he's
or
gonna
I don't think anyone wants him again.
No.
Guys,
I think
if he says he's running, everyone else has to beat him. He is currently the most favorable other than Trump.
You think he's gonna hold up in those debates?
It's not about holding up.
It
It's
is.
about, do you want him or Trump?
about
If no one else
And I
runs,
don't think it's gonna be Trump either.
that's
But
fine.
there are
Right.
Democrats
Yeah.
running
Yeah.
against him.
They have to win, unless it's Cuomo who is the most likely, as of right now, who hasn't ran but has started his movement. Unless it's Cuomo, the most probable answer is him. There's no one who's gonna outbeat that, because it's either him as of right now or Trump as of right now. Because the next two people is Vivek and is Ron DeSantis, and DeSantis is below Vivek
In terms of
polling
Hmm.
for the Republican Party.
for the Republican
How about
Party.
the Democrat Party?
I don't know, man. I hope it's not
Cuomo,
DeSantis.
RFK.
RFK is also up there in likelihood.
I like RFK. He seems like a decent guy.
I like Vivek better than RFK.
Yeah, but RFK's running as a Democrat is my thing.
He's running
Yeah.
he's running as a Democrat because at the end you have to pick Republican or Democrat.
Yeah.
And that's not set in stone, but
There's
there's never been a libertarian
Absolutely.
president or
Yeah.
independent president.
And this one got hot.
Yeah. You mind if we start wrapping up then?
Yeah.
I'm getting tight on time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But
Well,
Do you want any plugs?
so wrapping up.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
where were we leaving off? Did we close the thought that we had?
I believe we did.
All right.
We always do this.
each intermission.
Each intermission, everyone gets back. It's like, what's going on? These people just don't know what they're doing. I'm like, no, we don't. It's unscripted.
We have no idea what we're doing.
We're just having a jolly good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just talking out of our asses.
We've been having a good conversation.
Yeah, several good conversations that derail and then come back and then derail. And then derail, and then they don't really lead anywhere, but it's fun to listen to and talk about.
Maybe
Maybe.
fun to listen.
Perhaps.
To. Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah.
All right.
Hope you guys had a good time.
Hope you guys had a good time.
Been a fun episode. Might be
make
a longer
sure-
episode.
It is definitely going to be a longer episode.
It's a
than
longer
Alex is having an
episode.
anxiety attack right now. He's like, this is so
Yeah,
long.
just have
No,
to-
no, I don't care
I
about
have
the
to edit
length.
this.
I don't care about the
I
length.
don't edit
It's just more so other stuff. Yeah.
Well, yeah, guys, don't forget to subscribe and
Like,
click that notification bell and like.
he gets it.
And if you're on TikTok, we like you.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. They don't.
With the-
I didn't say
If you're on TikTok, they hate you.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe. If you're not on TikTok, even better. But-
This will probably be out Thursday.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Thursday? Damn, that's fast.
Yeah.
We do Tuesday and it gets posted Thursday. Yeah.
Wow.
All the time. We got more time now than usual.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
It's been another episode.
We're your favorite crypto
It's
podcast.
been real, guys.
Sometimes crypto.
Sometimes crypto.
The unscripted.
Sometimes not crypto.
Crypto podcast.
Ew.
That was funny.
That was fun, guys.